What's up, everybody? This is Sean.
This is Alan.
And this is Inside the Square, the wrestling podcast coming from sunny St. Mary's, California, Maryland. What's good, big buddy?
SummerSlam.
It's coming. It's coming. Who you got, player?
Jey Uso.
So you think Jey Uso is about to dethrone Roman Reigns?
Yep. All you Roman Reigns fans out there, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. Just Jey Uso's not a big enough star, and I don't think they're willing to take a big risk like that to change out the champ. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's kind of like, you know, Vince's whole mantra. It was a shock this last week. Dominic Mysterio is now a North American champion.
That's awesome.
I don't know, man. I feel kind of weird about it because, you know, Solo had to give up that belt before he came to the big roster. And now Dom goes back and wins it and comes and brings it to the main roster.
Wow. That's kind of weird.
You thought about that?
Yeah.
It's kind of counterintuitive and kind of dumb. And it's like not adhering to the same standards. But, you know, you always have to scratch your head with freaking Vince McMahon. His decision making is like very sus sometimes. You know, but who are we to question this man? This man made his company into a $1 billion industry. So, but I don't agree with that.
Jey Uso's gonna win. I see it coming.
I don't think.
I want Jey Uso to dethrone Roman Reigns.
You know, we didn't just have a belt change in NXT with Dominic. We also had, you know, this last go round Impact Wrestling, Trinity Fatu, formerly known as Naomi, is now the Women's Impact Champion.
That's incredible.
Man, I'm so happy for her.
She deserves it.
She deserves it.
She had a really good match with Deonna Purrazzo.
I think she did too.
Yeah, Deonna Purrazzo kind of showed out.
Yeah, you know, and it's funny that you say that. I think Deonna Purrazzo, I think she got let go too soon.
Yeah.
By WWE.
Yeah.
I think they should have stuck with her a little bit longer. She's a good wrestler.
Very good wrestler.
I mean, she's been the Impact Women's Knockouts champ a couple times now.
3 times.
And she is really good.
Yeah. And
she kind of showcases what they're missing in the women's division now. They need someone who's really just take charge. You know, she's a better wrestler than Lacey Evans.
Yeah.
100%. She's better. She's a better wrestler than just about any woman on that roster. I mean, it's a handful of them that I think of are better than her, like Bianca Belair, Charlotte, Becky, and Bayley when she's not injured, and maybe Io and Asuka. But for the most part, they would need someone like Deonna Purrazzo. She's really good, and I hope WWE thinks about it long and hard when they're looking to bring new talent in or bring talent back.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one.
Because she's good, man. I don't know if Impact is going to be able to keep her. I mean, I don't know.
It depends on the money truck.
If they're willing to back up the money truck, as we always say. But I really like the change. I don't think it was. I think it probably was, you know, a tough decision for the Impact leadership. But I really, really like Trinity as the champion, at the Knockouts champ. She deserves it. She was
100%.
She was not. I don't think her and Mercedes Moné.
Well, we're not treated right in WWE.
Yes, I don't think they were treated right.
No,
I really don't. I really like that they have faith in her, that she can, you know, sell pay-per-views, that she can sell merch, that she can put asses in seats. That takes a lot of courage to say, okay, you've never wrestled in our indie circuit like this, but we believe in you.
Yeah.
Man, and she's been killing it. Ever since she's been in Impact, she's been freaking killing it.
100%.
So I'm really happy that she's doing well in Impact.
And Josh Alexander, he returned to Slammiversary.
Josh, the walking weapon. Josh Alexander returns.
The longest reigning
That
Impact
dude,
champion.
He is Mr. Impact Wrestling right now, man.
Yeah.
He's Mr. Impact Wrestling.
He's going to tap out Alex Shelley. 100%.
I think he will, too.
Yeah.
I hope he does. I like Josh Alexander.
Yeah.
That dude's special, man.
He was a better champion.
Remember I told you for the first time I wrestled, I was like, this dude got something.
Yeah.
He wrestles anybody. And
the title that he never lost.
Never lost it.
Never lost it. Yeah.
I hope he gets back into the title hunt, which he probably will. I mean, he's always been at the top.
Yeah.
He's really good, man.
Yeah.
Eric Young came back in Slammiversary.
That is shocking.
I didn't realize it, but I read a story. I don't know which. I think I want to credit Russell Zone. I think it might have been Russell Zone.
Yeah.
The story that one of the stories they had about Eric Young leaving NXT once Vince took back over. Once Vince became CEO again, he said, "Hey, I don't want to work with this guy," and he asked for his release, and they granted him his release. And he had a no compete clause for a while, and once his no compete clause was up, that's why he was at Slammiversary with Scott D'Amore.
Which is a great moment.
Which was a moment, man. Eric Young is, when you think of Impact Wrestling, you think of Eric Young.
Yeah.
You think of freaking Jeff Jarrett. You think of AJ Styles. You think of, Moose. You think of, people like that. And you also think of Josh Alexander, but you really think of Eric Young, man.
Yeah.
That dude, he's a really good wrestler.
Yeah.
And he's been a really good wrestler for a long time. It's a shame that they couldn't, well, I shouldn't say they couldn't use him. They could always use him, but it's a shame that, Vince has such a terrible reputation.
Yeah.
That good, skilled wrestlers like him would say, you know what, it's not worth it. No. Imagine that. He's so toxic. Dudes are saying, you know what, I'll just go back to the indie circuit. And not to say the Impact is an indie league, because Impact is a major brand.
Yeah.
It comes on TV. They have a lot of fans, and they produce some really quality matches. Whether right, wrong, and different, how you feel about it. Impact is a really good brand.
Yeah.
Really good brand. Another title change that we want to talk about, Hook. He finally lost that damn belt.
Thank you. Jungle Boy deserves that belt.
Alan and I talk wrestling all the time. And I always say this about...
I knew Jack Perry was going to win that belt.
Right, about people who have these streaks,
Like they had the Jade Cargill problem, the Hook problem.
I call it the Goldberg problem. Goldberg had this stretch where he had 200-some matches. He was undefeated. And I'm like, I started thinking about myself. I was like, this dude cannot go undefeated his whole career. He has to lose.
He has to lose, and he finally lost.
And now I call it the Goldberg problem.
Yeah.
With Jade Cargill, and then, now at Hook, losing. I told you, I said, Jade Cargill's going to have to drop that belt.
And she did.
And she did. And
to Chris Statlander.
And Chris Statlander's a pretty good wrestler.
Yeah.
She deserves that belt. She deserves that belt.
Yeah.
Hook, I think Hook is good for what he does.
He's young. He's fresh in the business.
Yeah, good-looking kid. But guess what? He don't have mic skills.
Yeah, he just talks one word. That's it.
And he's and I don't want to say limited in the ring. He's a good wrestler.
Very good wrestler.
But he's not polished like Jungle Boy. He's not polished like Adam Page. He's not
Hangman Adam Page.
Yeah, he's definitely not Kenny Omega. He's
or MJF.
Or MJF's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's clarify that. MJF is awesome. But yeah, I think it was time for him to I think it was time for AEW to move on from him with that championship.
Yeah.
I think a lot of, and I hate to even say this, I think a lot of things Hook has gotten in AEW is because of his dad. His dad's Taz. Taz is a color commentator with AEW. I think that name recognition has gotten him far.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to have to evolve a little bit more or change a little bit more to get into that, that stratosphere of wrestlers like Kenny Omega, like John Moxley. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like CM Punk. Those dudes are like legends.
Yeah.
They've won belts every place they've been, regardless of whatever company they've been in.
Yeah.
Especially, look at Moxley. He was world heavyweight champion
multiple times
WWE.
Yeah.
Multiple times for AEW. The dude is, he's IWGP champion. Dude, you don't get those belts just by showing up. You get those belts because people like you, because you perform, and because you are the shit.
Yeah.
period. So, not saying Hook didn't deserve his belt or this and that, but it was time.
It was time for him to lose it.
It was time for him to lose it.
He had a long run.
Yeah, he had
almost for a year.
Quality run, man.
Yeah.
Quality run. And I'm not disputing that. But I really believe it was time for him to move on. And I don't know if it's a contract issue or anything like that.
Yeah, I think his contract is up this year.
What they're going to do with him? Are they going to re-sign him? Or is he going to move on to WWE? And if he moves on to WWE, does he start at NXT?
He starts in NXT.
Or does he start in the big brand? I think he would start at NXT.
That would be pretty good.
But that's the thing, though. Would he start at NXT?
He would.
A lot of those dudes with their egos, they think that they're beyond that.
Yeah.
Is he one of those dudes? I don't know.
Jack Perry deserves that belt.
I think,
in my opinion, he does.
I think Perry's ceiling is higher than Hook's.
Yeah.
I do.
He's such a great heel.
Dude is a good wrestler, man.
Yeah.
Good talker.
They were
really good.
They were planning on this the whole time.
I think he's a more likable version of Matt Riddle.
Yeah.
I think Riddle is, probably a better athlete than him.
Yeah.
But their personas, the way they talk, even how they, the high flying stuff they do, very similar if you look at it.
Very similar.
But yeah, I'm glad they moved on from Hook. Speaking of problems, what about LA Knight? The dude is so over, but they won't give him a shot. What the hell's up with that?
Vince McMahon.
We've been trashing Vince this whole podcast so far, and it's not it's not personal. We don't know this man. This man's a billionaire. We just talking smack. But yeah, it's like the dude does not. He wants to grow his own champions.
Yeah,
from people that he's trained at the Performance Center all the way up, and LA Knight, here he is, 30-something, late 30s, king of the Indy circuits, former NWA heavyweight champion. As Eli Drake, he's been in Maryland Championship Wrestling before. He's been all over the place.
Yeah,
and
the Eli Drake gimmick, it actually worked.
It worked
in AEW.
It worked everywhere.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the dude is organically growing his fan base.
Yeah,
just
people love LA Knight.
They love him. He just come out and talk shit. He has his own shtick, and his shtick is...
And he almost won the Fatal 4-Way match.
That's the thing, though, man. That dude is so over. The crowd loves him.
They let Rey Mysterio win it.
Which is bullshit.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. I really don't like that they're burying him. And you can see the crowd reaction when he comes out. The pop he gets. That dude is... They love him,
It's
man.
not fair to him.
It's not fair to him.
No.
He's grown his fan base to the point where they really want to see him with a strap. They really want to see him, on a main event, something.
Yes.
And it's like, Vince is like, you know what? He's one of my guys, but he's not one of my guys. And that's wrong, man.
LA Knight's a Triple H guy.
I like LA Knight.
Yeah.
I told you when he was in NXT, and I've said it on this podcast before.
He was too over.
When I said on this podcast before, no in the hell should that guy ever should have been in NXT.
He was too over.
He was too good.
He was too good.
He was more advanced than any of them on the mic. Better in the ring.
He put on really good matches.
Remember he wrestled Tim Thatcher?
Yeah.
He beat the hell out of Tim Thatcher.
And Tim Thatcher still won.
What I'm saying, though, he beat the hell out of Tim Thatcher.
Yeah.
And you realize, too, Tim Thatcher, not very big. LA Knight's a truck.
Yeah.
An athletic truck from Hagerstown, Maryland.
He lifts a lot of weights.
Well, I'm saying he has the physique, man. He has everything.
He's a main eventer. In my opinion, he's a main eventer.
And he should have never been in NXT.
No.
He was too good. And I'm like, you put dudes in NXT who need polishing. This dude didn't need any polishing.
No, he has his own gimmick.
He could have already came to the main roster. I said the same thing about freaking Damian Priest.
He was too over in NXT.
Dude should have never been in NXT.
No.
Never should have been in NXT. He's a Ring of Honor guy, Impact guy, and he had one belt. And he was killing it on the indie circuit before he came to WWE.
Yeah.
He was Punishment Martinez.
That was a really good gimmick.
Really good gimmick. But, his gimmick has not really changed that much.
No.
It's just his name. His name's the only thing that's really changed. He's really good.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why they keep burying these indie guys. Now
they didn't bury Damian Priest. They didn't.
Well, we're gonna see because he won the Money in the Bank. What are they gonna do with the briefcase? Are they gonna squander it like they've done the last 2 times?
No. I think Seth Rollins, maybe mid 2023, he might get cashed in on.
It's already mid 2023.
Yeah,
it's July, bro. It's July. We going in.
I hope Dominic does not cause Damian Priest's briefcase.
All I'm saying is we're going into SummerSlam.
Yeah,
SummerSlam is soon.
What if Seth Rollins causes Damian Priest that briefcase, or Finn Balor?
I don't know, man. I root for Damian Priest. I root for all the guys who started in the indie circuits because I think that WWE gives them a short stick.
Yeah.
One of the few dudes from the indie circuit that, not only did well and won a big strap, was AJ Styles.
AJ Styles. He's been killing it lately.
And he didn't start out at NXT.
He started in Impact.
Yeah. Well, no. Once he left Impact in Japan, he came to WWE, but he didn't start out he didn't start out in NXT.
Yeah.
Initially. And he eventually won a championship a couple times. And it's just really shocking how they they don't treat the free agent guys they get from these other brands right. I don't think they do right by them.
No, I don't.
Just me talking. It's my opinion. I don't know WWE policy. I don't know Vince McMahon, but it's just my opinion from the outside looking in. And I don't think they treat their talent correctly, especially guys who come from the indie circuits and are not performance center trained. Moving on, saw another report about Carrion Cross going back to NXT.
That is going to be awesome. It's gonna be a viewership up when he comes back.
I don't like Carrion Cross, man.
But he was better in NXT.
See, to me, he was like the NXT boogeyman. He was like the NXT Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I just don't think they're going to send him back after he's been on the main roster, which means he's failed.
Yeah.
And he's trying to capture lightning in the bottle again.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of fans from NXT have moved on from him.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
Is he a more popular wrestler than Dragunov? No.
No.
Is he a more popular wrestler than Braun Breaker? No.
Or Carmelo Hayes?
Him? No. This is a him era.
Yeah.
He's not more popular than those 3 dudes.
No.
And the fans already don't like him. So when they brought him back, I was like, okay, it's cool they brought him back. And then they gave him his tired ass NXT gimmick. And I'm like, no one cares. And sure enough, they send his ass right back to NXT.
Dang.
So if he wasn't successful in the main roster and he's going back to a different NXT than when he left it, he's left NXT 2 years ago.
That was 2 years ago.
It's changed a lot.
Yeah, it did.
It's changed a lot. So I don't foresee him, even if he regains the belt, how many people are going to be like, man, you should have just let damn Carmelo Hayes keep that belt.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It's going to be a lot of people not happy with this shit.
No, it's not.
It's going to be a lot of people not happy with it.
But what if Carrion Cross puts over Carmelo Hayes?
But would he do that?
He would.
We'll see. We'll see.
He put over Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe is a great wrestler, and they've wrestled together before.
Yeah.
People forget Carrion Cross is an indie wrestler. The dude was an indie guy. He and his wife, Scarlett.
Yeah. Because
Scarlett's his real-life wife. They've been all over the indie circuit. And he's
been killing it.
And he's been killing on the indie circuit. That's why I think they didn't want to give him that big push.
Yeah.
But that's just me, talking out loud.
Yeah.
We want to finish up by saying, what's up, Ricky Starks, man? Absolute Ricky Starks, man, out there killing it.
They need to put a belt on him.
It's so many belts in AEW. You could throw a brick and hit somebody with a belt. I think that Ricky Starks is the future. I think if they don't sign...
Future of the company.
Yeah, I think him and MJF ever had like a real feud, it'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine the promos on them two dudes.
So good.
So good. So good. MJF right now is so over. I was dumb, not by not putting the apple cart to that horse, to that thoroughbred. But him and like Ricky Starks, Adam Cole, my God.
So good.
So good, man.
I think Adam Cole might turn on MJF.
Oh, he definitely will.
Yeah.
But get back to Ricky Starks. I really hope to see this guy in the title hunt. I would love to see him against MJF.
MJF? Who would win that one again?
It'd probably be MJF because the dude is so over, and they want
too over.
That dude's awesome, man.
Yeah.
The stuff he's been doing with Adam Cole has just really changed my mind about.
It's funny.
It's more than funny. It's really good. It reminds me of the Attitude Era.
The Attitude Era, yeah.
It really does. It reminds me of the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
And when you see it, it makes you laugh. It makes you emote, and it's very fun.
Yeah.
And I think in the end, a lot of times we miss the point of wrestling being fun. It's entertainment. It's fun. It's an escape from reality. And I think sometimes we as fans, we're fans.
Yeah.
We get too caught up in, the politics of it and things like that. But, it's fun. It feels good to be in that crowd, to listen to these promos, to you see these dudes dancing. You see them having fun. You want to have fun.
Yeah.
So it was a good relief. Not all the time, but sometimes you need that comedy relief. You need to laugh.
Yeah.
You need to let it out.
Yeah.
So I felt like, and MJF is like a funny, hard-edged dude. So to see him just doing silly stuff is just like, who is this dude? But that's him his whole career. And that's why I think if Tony Khan was smart, and he is smart, he would sign those three dudes to long-term contracts, especially Ricky Starks. Because that dude, every time he comes out, he reminds me of The Rock.
Yeah.
He has that charisma. He has a lot of charisma. And he's really good in the ring.
Really good in the ring.
So we're going to see. Well, that's it for me. That's it for us this week. Drop us a line. All one word, Sean D. Graham at yahoo.com. Or just check us out on any of the other platforms. Till next time, see you down the road.
Bye.